The comfort zone is deadly. When I was a kid, there were movies that we would watch that would feature people out on adventures, and they would be going through a forest and they would encounter quicksand. And before someone realized what it was, they would step onto this squishy sand or mud and they would start to sink. First, their ankles would go in, and then it would go up to their calves. And once it was up to their knees, they would realize that they weren't easily able to pull their legs out of the quicksand. And they would begin to panic, but the more they moved, the more they would sink. And so once they were up to their waist, they were calling for help. Hey, I need help. I need help. And the hero would try to scramble quickly to find a rope or a vine or something they could throw to the person who had gone into the quicksand. But if the person was unable to grab anything, soon they would be sunken up into their chest. And eventually it would get up to their neck. And finally, they'd have to take their last breath as they sink under the quicksand to suffocate and die. And when I saw this as a kid, my jaw hit the floor. And I thought, that is terrifying. Is that real? And if it is, how come nobody told me? Well, gratefully, although quicksand does exist, it's not usually that dramatic. You can get stuck, but it would really just be your legs, maybe up to your waist. But typically, you wouldn't die from quicksand. You wouldn't sink all the way up until your head is under the quicksand. And if you lay on it the right way, you could actually float on quicksand, according to experts. So all that being the case, it's not as terrifying as they would depict in the movies, but that captured our imaginations as kids, this force that looks squishy and soft, but in reality was deadly. And there does exist something that is like that in real life. Yes, it's your comfort zone. It seems soft and cuddly. It's so inviting. Warm and cozy. We all love comfort. But if you stay in it too long, you can get stuck and it can eventually kill you. Besides that, it can kill your dreams, your hopes, your ambitions. The comfort zone doesn't just hold you back, it can kill your potential, your future. So, how many things have died in your life? Goals, relationships, opportunities, because it felt easier not to act. We have to switch our mindset. Comfort isn't safe, it's deadly. It's dangerous. Comfort isn't safe, it's dangerous. A lot of times we default to what's comfortable because we like that cozy, safe feeling. But comfort can kill. It can kill your dreams. It can kill your opportunities. It can kill your relationships. It can kill your growth, your dreams, because maybe you don't take the risks. It can kill your opportunities because you don't show up when it counts. It can kill your relationships because you avoid the hard conversations or the vulnerability. It can kill your growth because learning requires discomfort. And what's worse, it can actually kill your physical health. Physically, mentally, comfort can kill. If you avoid exercise because it's not comfortable, if you live a sedentary lifestyle because it's uncomfortable to have to move around a lot, if you avoid stressors that would strengthen your resilience, if you keep eating the comfort food, it can kill you. Comfort is potentially deadly. It can actually shorten your life. Studies link sedentary lifestyles, which is a form of comfort seeking, to heart disease, diabetes, depression. So, why comfort may feel safe to you, even though it isn't, is because the brain craves what's familiar. And because unfamiliar equals possible danger, because we fear what we do not know. We don't want to take the step to go out there where things are potentially uncomfortable, where something could potentially go wrong. And so we stay right here in the comfort zone, and we've mistaken that comfortable for being good. If it's comfortable, it's good. In truth, growth only happens outside of the comfort zone. The comfort zone is like quicksand. It can feel soft at first, but we stay too long and it pulls us under. It's quite ironic for us as humans because we naturally grow toward the comfort when we're out of the comfort zone. For instance, if you were just alone in the forest, the wilderness, and you had to survive on your own, ideally you would start to build a shelter for yourself and gather water for yourself and gather food for yourself. And if you had to do this long term, you start to plant your own food and herd your own livestock or sheep or whatever it is. And once you had your house with your fireplace built and some blankets inside and you had your clothes, you would start to feel comfortable, right? So it took all of that hard work, all of that discomfort to create comfort. But once you have comfort, it could kill you if you don't know how to leave it behind and continue to grow, continue to add to your house, or go out and hunt and do the things that are uncomfortable. So there has to be this balance between, yes, you can occasionally enjoy some comfort, but if you were to just stay there, recognizing that it will eventually destroy you. Today, we're not worried about wild animals attacking us. The danger is wasting your life, wasting your time, mistaking comfortable for good when growth only happens outside of the comfort zone. I repeat, growth only happens outside of the comfort zone. So, what's on the other side of deadly comfort? What's out there? Well, there's courage, there's new skills, there's healthier relationships, healthier mind and body, a life of stories rather than a life of regrets. Instead of a life of should-haves and could-haves, we could live a life of I did, and it was amazing. The uncomfortable things that you avoid today are the exact things that make you stronger, wiser, and freer tomorrow. So let's look at how we can kind of break out of that comfort zone, right? It's not going to happen all at once. It's not that you need to do anything drastic. It's just like with quicksand, the smaller movements and the slower movements can actually dislodge you from the quicksand faster. If you were to just add water, for instance, to the sand, that would change like the density or something like that. It'll loosen up the sand particles, I believe, so then you're able to pull out your limbs a little bit easier. So likewise, just small actions can really build strength to take us out of the comfort zone. So take a different route home from work. Something as simple as that takes you out of the comfort zone. In fact, it could add to your safety. If there were someone who was following or stalking your movements, by occasionally taking a different route, you throw off their ability to track you and to be able to predict what you're going to do next. Try a new food. Eating only the same foods could eventually lead you to lack nutrients. Trying something different could eventually lead you to being able to introduce more variety into your diet, which could lead you to eating at different places, which could lead you to meeting different people, which could lead you to meeting a potential new best friend or a really important contact for business or that special person who's going to be in your life for a while. Speak up in situations where you normally would stay silent. That's a huge part of getting out of your comfort zone. Set boundaries, meaning assert the boundaries, meaning when you feel uncomfortable, Tell someone, hey, what I don't like what you're doing here. Just say something. All of this counts as setting boundaries to someone. What was that? Why did you do that? That counts. It counts because you're asserting yourself on some level, or saying, I don't like that. No, thank you. I'm not comfortable. No, thank you. I'm not into that. There's a variety of ways, depending on the circumstances, to speak up. But we're so afraid to make the other person feel uncomfortable that we don't speak up. Even in extreme circumstances, there are some who have been survivors of very extreme types of assault, and they said that they didn't want to be rude. And so that's why they didn't speak out or do something to make their attacker feel uncomfortable. It's time for us to speak up, to exercise that voice, and to get used to the reality that we exist. And therefore, by existing, we may occasionally make other people feel uncomfortable. They will have to acknowledge our existence occasionally. Sorry, but really not so sorry because we exist and it's okay. It's okay to exist. It's okay to tell the waiter politely, could I have some extra napkins? Or, oh, this order came out wrong. This wasn't what I ordered. It's okay. So many people are eating the wrong order. You're sitting there, oh no, I don't want to say anything. Your friends are like, that's not what you ordered. And you're, ah, ah, I don't want to start anything. It's okay. You exist. It's okay to say, oh, I'm sorry. I know this wasn't your fault, but this wasn't what I meant to order. Whatever. This is nice ways of saying it. Speak up. You can meet one new person this week. You should make a regular habit of meeting new people. Some of the new people are the same people who've already been there. You've just been ignoring them. The people who check out your groceries, the people who work at your bank, the people who live in your building, in your neighborhood. You've been so busy, like, no, I don't want to talk to anyone, that you're missing the opportunity to just build a social skill. Sometimes it's nothing more than that, just to say something positive to them. Just that gives them 1 point of positivity that day. Our words are power. So say a positive word to someone you pass by. That's your first step to being able to meet people. Sometimes when you just say something positive, maybe 1 out of 10 of those people will say something positive back, and the next thing you know, you'll have a conversation, which could lead to meeting more people. But if you continue to stay in your comfort zone and not say anything, then you're not going to make any new connections. That's the phenomena of pickup sports, which some wives have had their minds blown to know that their husbands will go out and go to the gym to play basketball with no plans made with anyone. Some of these wives have said, they're on social media, they said, so you just go to the gym ready to play basketball with whoever's just there and you don't know any of those people? Yeah, that's how pickup sports works. You just show up to the park or the beach or the gym and you just show up. That's terrifying to many of us, that the idea that you're just going to walk out there like a kid again and just show up to the playground. But this is happening in every single city around the world. I mean, the world. This is happening in most countries. I can show up and just play with the people who are there. How does this work? I don't care if you're in the Philippines. I've seen this in Brazil, all throughout the United States, Canada. It's happening in Mexico. How does it work? You just show up. And no, you don't have to be a man. You can be a female as well, and you can just show up. Wherever they're playing, you go stand on the sidelines and politely watch. That's all. Because the chances that you're gonna be able to play when you're there is exponentially higher than if you just stayed home in your comfort zone. Wow, it feels so awkward. There's nothing awkward about going and watching people play sports. You just happen to be wearing all of the sports, clothing that would be appropriate to also play, and they see you wearing the tennis shoes, right? And guess what they're going to do when they see you standing on the sideline? I'm telling you, I've tried this several times in different states, different areas. Just me, just this guy. Except instead of wearing this, I'm just, well, actually, one time I was in some blue jeans as I was just at a restaurant and I saw a ball bobbing up and down. I went over and just stood there. And you know what they say? They go, "Hey, would you like to play?" That's what they do. I'm telling you, but you got to get out of your comfort zone and go there. And then all you have to say is, "Sure." That's all. That's all you have to say. You can go, "Oh no, I wouldn't want to impose," but then they might take you seriously and go, "Okay." So you got to be honest. Yeah, sure. I wouldn't mind playing. Next thing you know, you're playing games with these people. Next thing you know, you're taking a water break because you got to drink water after you play games. But while you're in between sips of water, you might begin to speak to one another and say things like, "Hey, what's your name?" And then you're answering questions about your name and how long you've been in town or why you moved there. And do you see how this could eventually lead to a relationship? They become an acquaintance, which is basically like a friend that you just don't talk to that often. And what happens if you keep showing up at these same places? If you keep going to the same meetup groups, the same congregation meetings, church communities, mosques, synagogues, tabernacles, if you keep going to your stretching, your Pilates, your Taibo, and your spin class, if you keep showing up to the pickup sports, they're going to see you often. Seeing you often creates familiarity. Familiarity breeds trust. Once the trust is there, everything changes. Now they start inviting you out. You have friends. That's how it happens. That's how it works. But you got to show up. You got to get out of your comfort zone. So go on out there. Move the body. That's a big part of getting out of your comfort zone. So even if you don't have anyone to play sports with, there's a staircase in your apartment building or in your house, or there's a hill nearby. Get the body moving. So don't just sit there on the couch. Go run up and down those stairs and run up and down that hill. You might feel like it's nuts, but you're training yourself because if that body is not challenged, it's going to become a problem to you. So you can give your body some discomfort right now, or you can live in pain as a result of not challenging the body. How about scheduling that thing that we've been putting off? That doctor's appointment, the health check, that dentist appointment, that class, that conversation. Why don't we just put it on the calendar? Why don't we go ahead and call those people and schedule it? Because we've been putting it off, but it's going to kill us because comfort kills, doesn't it? Yeah, yeah. The cavity is only going to get worse. The health is only going to decline if we don't go ahead and do the thing that's necessary to care for ourselves. And this is where self-love comes in. Would you do it for your kid? It's just that simple. Real simple question. Would you do it for your kid? Would you schedule him a dentist appointment? Would you make sure she was scheduled to go see a doctor for what she's going through right now? Or would you tell her, the pain's not that bad, right? Would you do that to your kid? It's not that bad. You've been complaining about this for months, but you could probably make it a little longer. No, you would be like, "This is my child. I got to make sure you're getting the best care that I can afford to give you." That's it. Same thing you do for yourself. You're my person. I need to make sure I'm giving you the best care that I can afford to give you. When the fear whispers in your ear, stay comfortable. You need to resist that and say, "No, I choose to grow. Get behind me, Satan." And that's how you should respond. I'm not even joking. it's, it's an actual biblical quote. When the fear tells you stay comfortable, you got to hit it with the "Mm, get behind me, Satan." So this week, kill your comfort before it kills your potential. Choose one action that scares you a little and do it. You can direct message me, you can send me a text message. Let me know what action you're going to be taking or what action you did take. I don't want to know about the future. I want to know about what you actually accomplished. What did you do? One of the things that can help us is visualization. This is where you just close your eyes and you picture yourself successfully completing the thing that's a little bit scary. Don't picture yourself failing, picture yourself succeeding at it. Picture it all working out. You talking to that person that you're afraid to approach, you doing that thing that was holding you back, and picture it all working out. That's visualization. It rehearses it in the mind, therefore building the neural pathway as if you've already done it. It's so miraculous that you can learn to do a sport that you've never done before just through visualizing it. True story. This has been tested. If you think about how you would feel at the end of your life, would you feel at peace that you weren't afraid, that you took the risks and faced some discomfort so that you could live fully? Or would you feel full of regret because your comfort allowed you to stay small? Why not make a list? Even right now, as you're listening to this, just start jotting down some examples of things that you might do to break out of your comfort zone. Some things that you would like to do to break the comfort zone. You actually want to build a habit of not making yourself too comfortable. There's one comedian says when you become successful as a comedian, and this particular guy, he's been successful for decades, decades. He says what happens to a lot of comedians when they get successful, everything in their life is too perfect. You know, you got the maids and you got the butlers and you got the massage appointments and the hair appointments, and everything's too perfect. And when everything in your life is too perfect, there's no irritation. And what comedians know is that through the irritation is where the comedy is born. So this comedian said he keeps things a little imperfect in his life. He keeps a toilet that doesn't quite work properly. He keeps a rug on the floor with the end where the corner just kind of sticks up and you keep sort of tripping over it. He keeps things like that in his life that throws him off so that he doesn't feel too comfortable, even though he's very rich, very successful. He doesn't want to get too comfortable because he doesn't want to lose his edge. Now, I'm not saying you got to keep a rug with an annoying corner because I wouldn't want that. But you should develop the habit of taking yourself out of your comfort zone, of running away from too much comfort. When it gets too good, mess it all up. I've done this several times in my life. When I reached certain goals, I wiped all the pieces off the table and started over. It sounds insane, but it's the best thing I could have done. That was what I did when I went to do missionary work in South America. I finally got in my life, right, where I finally was a little comfortable. I had a nice business going. You know, we were able to provide for ourselves and like we just got out of poverty, like just got out. And then it was like, okay, let's start over. We take everything we have, we sell it all, take my business interest, I sell that off. We take all the cash we can get from that, we put it in the bank, we go down to the poorest country, city that we've ever heard of, and we go live there and we have purpose. We have mission. Fulfilling, very fulfilling. Would never take it away. Would never take it away. So important to do that. And then when the time came and we fulfilled our goals there, wipe the board clean again, move to a different city, start it over. And keep repeating that process. I've repeated that process several times in my life. You reach the goals, I wipe everything off the table, I start over. Why? Because comfort kills. And rather than being comfortable, I'd rather be a conqueror. When you look back on your life, what do you want to say? The comfort's an illusion anyway, truth be told. Because if you hide in your house long enough, you're gonna run out of the money because you hid in the house. So you can't sustain your house and you lose it. You know, if you don't maintain the building, it's gonna start to fall apart. The comfort's really an illusion. It doesn't actually keep you in a safe place. When you stay still, everything falls apart and it eventually corrodes. So don't don't think that you have something that's just going to be there forever. Challenge yourself. When you challenge yourself, you're choosing your own problems in life. And I know for myself, I rather choose my hard than to let whatever hard is just going to come sweep me away. Does that make sense? I rather choose my own hard because difficulty is going to come. Challenges are going to come. There is no way you can live in this world without any resistance. So when you're choosing your hard, you have some level of control. When you just try to hide from hard, hard just continues to pursue you and chase you down and will eventually overtake you. That's a promise. And you're not going to be ready for it because you didn't choose that hard and you haven't trained yourself to be able to handle the difficulties. Probably one of the best things that I've gained as a result of wiping the board clean and starting over several times is the fearlessness that comes with any challenge. So when it comes down to having to hit something difficult or something coming my way that I didn't want, I don't have to live in some sort of huge fear of this situation because I've been through the rebuilding process. I understand resilience. So give yourself that gift. Start by writing down right now one or two things where you could jump out of that comfort zone so that you don't get stuck in the quicksand. Because even though quicksand's not real, comfort is. And that comfort zone is deadly.